Hello, this is my book talk project, and my book was The Turn of the Key by Ruth Ware. Hook. An innocent nanny has been hired for a new nannying job. Now she is writing letters to her lawyer from prison. What did she do? Is she really innocent? And then there's a picture of the cover of the book. So the characters, Rowan Kane / Rachel Gerhardt, 27-year-old nanny and main character of the story. Mr. Wrexham is Rowan's lawyer. Bill and Sandra Ellencourt are wealthy parents of the kids Rowan nannied for, and Maddie, Ellie 5, and Petra, which is an infant, are the Ellencourt children. Rhiannon is another Ellencourt child that is at boarding school for the majority of the story. And then Jack Grant is an employee for the Ellencourts, and Jack Grant lives in like a back house in the Ellencourts' backyard. Okay, so the early stage of the story. Before we start, I just want to say that the story is basically formatted in like a letter, so the whole thing is in like letter form to Rowan's lawyer. Okay, so the story starts with the start of the letter Rowan had written to her lawyer while in jail. In the beginning of the letter, she seems very hesitant and unconfident that her lawyer, Mr. Wrexham, will write back or even bother to read her letter. She insists that she is not guilty for what had happened a couple years previously. She begins to tell the whole story from the start of her first reaching out to Sandra Ellencourt in hopes of getting the job to her arriving at the house. After Rowan had visited the house, had an interview, and met the family, she gathered that there was a big catch to taking the job. Sandra had given her a huge book of rules that she absolutely needed to abide by, and she also found out that there was a lot of paranormal activity that had been going on throughout the house. So this is like the early middle stage of the book. So on Rowan's first night staying at the house, Bill Ellencourt insisted on getting to know Rowan better, almost forcing her multiple glasses of wine. He began to flirt with her and eventually tried to touch her. Rowan found this very disturbing, and she quickly got up and went to bed. Over the next few days, after the parents had left, things were going good besides her scared attitude towards the ghost she had heard about. Um, and she started hearing creaking noises coming from above her every night while she slept. Rowan was comfortably sitting in her bed one night when she noticed a surveillance camera across the room recording her sleep. She did not like that at all, especially because of what Bill did to her a couple nights before, so she decided to cover it up with a sock. Middle stage of the story. Um, Rowan woke up one morning in the living room with Ellie and one of the Ellencourt's dogs on her lap, and she was completely disoriented and confused why she had woken up there because every night she usually sleeps in her bed and she does not remember falling asleep in the living room. She also had noticed that in her lap was the head of a doll she had seen in the attic a couple days ago. She got really confused by this and also a little scared. She noticed that the keys to the attic had been in her pocket. Rowan picked up the doll head to throw it away, but it had cut her when she picked it up. Rowan decided to go and talk to the Ellencourt's employee Jack in efforts to understand what was going on inside the house. Jack started telling her that there had been multiple deaths that have occurred in that house, and then the last one was a little girl around Ellie's age that didn't happen too long ago. Jack also explained to her that the statue in the backyard was a statue of Acleus, the Greek goddess of misery, death, and poison, and Rowan did not like that at all. She was very disturbed by the statue. So the later stage of the book, at this point in the story, Rhiannon had returned home, and he swears that Rowan is not who she says she is. Rhiannon says that Rowan is living under a false identity, and her name is actually Rachel Gerhardt. Rhiannon doesn't know, or nobody, I mean, Rhiannon doesn't know, the kids don't know, that Rachel is actually also Bill's daughter. What a plot twist. In her letter to Mr. Wrexham, she said that she was doing an internet search for her father when she had stumbled across the nannying job. Rachel uh, gets mad about being exposed, so she gets very drunk and decides to sleep with Jack. So the next morning, when she was returning from Jack's back house, she found something horrible. She found Maddie dead under her window. Okay, so personal connection. This book is very unique, and I honestly have never came across another book or movie with such a good but random plot twist. This book had a perfect twist of horror, mystery, and suspense, and I couldn't really relate to any of the characters because I don't know. I feel like they lived a completely different lifestyle than me, and they also live in Scotland, which is on the other side of the world. And they're either way older or way younger than me. So, yeah. I also have zero personal connection with this book, and that might be why I enjoyed it so much, honestly, because I feel like it's kind of outside of my comfort zone, and I'm pretty unfamiliar with it. So it was pretty cool new experience. My academic response, I would say that this book was pretty easy to read and understand. The vocabulary was scrambled between bigger, more unfamiliar words and smaller, more commonly used words, but Ruth Ware kept it pretty easy, nothing too crazy. I think that the hardest part of the story to wrap your head around was the understanding that it was all being described in a letter. So, my final thoughts, I really enjoyed reading this book actually. Uh, I can say that I'm not that much of a reader myself, but I did enjoy reading this book. Um, I think that anyone who likes the feeling of suspense would like this book, and I'm impressed where Ruth Ware ended up taking the story towards the end. And I also wish that I could share with you the actual ending of the book and what actually happened, but save that for another day. All right, thank you. Yeah, that's it.